Hi guys. Okay, so for today, I'm going to do my mid-year freak out tag, Romantasy Edition, because that's all I read. So I have the questions right in front of me, and yeah, let's go through it so I can tell you guys all the books that I've read so far this year for 2026. Um, I've only read 15 books, which seems small, but like when I started doing kind of like my breakdown of my normal reading, I guess, pace, it's actually accurate. I'm not a fast reader. I do, like I said, I read a lot of romantasy, and those tend to be like really, really long books versus like a romance or something that may be like normally pretty short. So about a book a week is probably my normal pace. Sometimes it'll be two, depending on like if it's a book that I'm really enjoying and if it's a series. If it's a series, I might read it a bit faster. But for the most part, yeah, I read a book a week, and that's my normal pace. Jeez, almost hit someone. Great. Um, but yeah, 15 books so far. Uh, and to be honest, it's been okay reading. Like there hasn't been too many great like reads for me, but like I said, I don't know if it's just maybe my state of mind. But anyways, let's get into it. I have my questions. Don't worry, I'll be safe. I'm not gonna try to do. If I feel like I can't do both, then maybe this will be like a part one, and then a part two will actually be me sitting somewhere. So the first question is best book you've read so far this year. Um, I would have to say it's The Tempest Blade by Daniel Jensen, and it was the final book in the Bridge Kingdom series. It's a total of six books, but Tempest Blade is part of a duology. So the six books are broken down into like duologies. Um, but yeah, I would say that one was one of my favorite reads. It's really, really jam packed with like all the characters from the series, a lot of like plots and subplots, and I don't know. It was really, yeah, I really liked it. Which was surprising because the middle duology I actually was okay with. And I just thought maybe I just love the first two books in the series. Which I'm so sorry that I'm forgetting the names. I'll tag everything down in the description. Um, I just kind of wanted these vlogs that I do on this channel as of right now to just be really light and like no pressure on my end. I just want to talk about books to the best of my abilities as of right now without having to like do too much research. But yeah, it was probably one of my favorite reads of the year. I love the characters, I love the world building, I love the action. It's not too fantasy driven. I'm not going to say that it's going to be like that intense, which was surprising because I usually love a good fantasy uh, world. But the characters and just the plot alone really, really made it enjoyable for me. So that one, and then actually like a close second maybe would be, and I'm so sorry again with the names, but I'm going off the top of my head. But I would say The Fallen and the Kiss of Dust by Chris Broadbent, another second book in a duology of Queen the Queen of Nyaxia series, the Nyaxia series, sorry again. But yeah, that one actually was surprisingly well. That was actually a surprise book for me. I didn't like the first book too much. I just felt like the plot wasn't just, wasn't it for me. But this second book, again, kind of the same thing with The Tempest Blade. It really went into the characters and we got such a stronger plot. So I really, really actually enjoyed it, surprisingly. Um, and I know there's like a second duology out now, which is on my TBR. But yeah, that one too was actually a really good read and a surprising read, actually. Um, New release you haven't read yet but want to. New release yet that I haven't read but want to. Gosh, geez Louise. There's probably one out there that I haven't read yet. That's still my TBR. Maybe I'll put that down in the description since I can't think of it off the top of my head. And I'm using my phone to record this, so I can't honestly look at like my TBR right now. Um, Gosh, let me see if I can think. Oh my gosh, duh. Yeah, Akatar. um, yeah, that is absolutely a new release. Well, I guess that's not new release. I mean, it's releasing this year, so does that count? Probably not. It's probably this question is probably for something that's already been released. So maybe that's not it. But so far, I mean, the last vlog I mentioned, the Ballad of Dragons, and then I also read some other sequels that were kind of on my top of my list to read. But yeah, let me think about that and like let me put that in the description of like something that I haven't read yet. Best sequel you've read so far this year. Um, I mean, it just goes back to The Tempest Blade, probably, just because it is a sequel. And it's hard to be like a romantasy or fantasy reader, I suppose, without having to read so many like series books. I haven't read a standalone romantasy yet. They've always at least been a duology. Um, because if you're going to do all that plot building and world building, I guess you just want to make sure that you make it worth your while. But Tempest Blade for sure is probably the best sequel I've read so far. Again, it was just like a nice little button up of the stories and getting again to revisit the characters that I love so much. Yeah, it was a good one. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year, which is the one. Okay, so then that is Akatar. Absolutely, positively, I'm so excited for book 7. Yes, absolutely. That is my most anticipated uh release for the second half. I think it's probably everyone's. Um, as far as like Sarah J. Maas's world, Throne of Glass, I can absolutely appreciate it for its complexities and the world building. It's just like there's like such a soft spot for me for Akatar because I don't know if this is, I mean, I feel like everyone knows Akatar at this point, but like, and the characters, so I'm just gonna say it, but like Nesta is like my girly. Like I love her so much. I love her story so much. Uh, Court of Silver Flames is probably one of, if not my favorite book of like all time. It just captivated me. Her character arc captivated me. Her, oh yeah. So I'm not sure what to anticipate. I honestly haven't been following any of like the supposed plots or anything like that. I tend to love to go into books pretty much blind. I like discovering while reading for the most part. I mean, it's romantasy, so I get it. There's going to be probably some fey dude magic in the, book. We're gonna go to, mythical creatures, all that stuff, sure. But like for the most part, I tried to not read the back of books or anything. So as far as the book itself, Akatar and the next edition, I have absolutely no idea what to expect from it. And I'm so excited. I love it so much. Like such a great balance. I want to say for those, I mean, for the very few maybe that still haven't read it or are thinking about reading it, I would say that Akatar certainly leans more romance. Like I would put a percentage of like 60% romance, 40% fantasy. Whereas Throne of Glass, I certainly would say it's probably 70% fantasy elements. So I don't know. It was just, but yeah, definitely one I anticipated. And I think it's so many other people's fantasy or most anticipated. Biggest disappointment. Oh gosh. Um, Biggest disappointment. I'll just say this because biggest disappointment. Um, Okay, sorry, because there's two, and I don't even want to say disappointment because it's like I guess it's just one of those things where it's just maybe I wasn't in the right mood, because I still think both of the books I was thinking about mentioning are both writers that I adore. Like I know they're good writers. So I would say disappointment in the sense it's like maybe it was just wrong book, wrong time. But um, because I love Danielle Jensen's book, the Bridge Kingdom series, so much, I did read the Cursed Bones, like that uh, duology that she had. Like it's a Viking, based on Viking mythology. Um, but I would say that was probably my biggest disappointment, just because it, I don't know, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't connect to the characters. Um, yeah, it was okay. I think that's like you could say my biggest disappointment. I still think Daniel Jensen's an amazing writer. I just think it wasn't like it for me. I think that might be the one. The other one that I was thinking of actually was Rachel Gillig and The Night and the Moth. That series was also, I don't even want to say again disappointment, because she is an incredible writer and that book was so well written. But I think again it's just like I couldn't connect to the plot as well. And again, so maybe wrong book, wrong time. Like I was anticipating the book to read one way and it actually read another. So maybe that's the biggest reason. Um, biggest surprise. Ooh, biggest surprise. I would say the kiss and the fallen dust was probably the biggest surprise for me, because again, I thought the first book in the duology was just okay. Like I actually didn't think it was that great. Um, it was okay, especially because I do love the first two, The Serpent and the Wings of Night duology. That was like such a good read for me. So I think I just had high expectations for that book. Um, yeah, and it was just okay. Um, so that was probably a surprise for me, in the sense that the second book was so good. Like I really did enjoy it, and I think I went in being like, oh, it's gonna be okay, like lukewarm expectations. But I ended up really really liking it. Yeah, so that was probably one of the biggest surprises. Favorite new author debut or new to you? No. Favorite new author. Hmm. I don't think there. I guess there isn't one. I feel like like I said before, this is like the Romantasy edition, and there's like I haven't veered too off into new authors too much this time around. Other than the Blood and Ash series, which I think is Jennifer Armentrout, but I will say it's just okay. So it's like she is a new author to me, but like the series has been okay for me. It's been an okay read. Um, I think there was just so much hype around that series that again I was expecting it to be like the greatest book of all time or something, or the greatest series of all time. But like it was okay. It's good. Like again, I can't stress this enough, because I don't want I don't want people to think that it's like I'm like bashing on these books, because I wholeheartedly believe as well that like sometimes my head is just, I use reading as a way of relaxing and just like decompressing after the day. And so maybe I'm just like not in the right headspace to read the book, and that's like what's causing me to be like not as engaged, because I'm not giving it a shot anyways, because I'm just so pooped. So she is a new author to me, but I just yeah, I've only tried that series, and I know that there's other series that people really enjoy from her. So maybe I should try. Yeah, maybe it's just the wrong series to start with that author, and I'll find another one that maybe better suits me later this year if I try to find another series from that author. Um, but yeah, I haven't read many new authors. It's definitely been the books so far this year have been all part of some book series. So no new authors, unfortunately. Yeah. Again, though, if I do think of one, or if I skipped one, or yeah, if I have a better answer, I'll just put it in the description down below. But I think that might be my answer. Mm, newest fictional crush. I don't know if this is new. Hmm. Yeah, no new ones. I'm like thinking back in my head about all the books I've read. I mean, obviously, I read Romantasy because I love me a good MMC. Uh, but they're not new. Like a lot of these books, like the ones I will mention, they're not new to me. I have read them in prior books. So like James from The Tempest Blade, I adore him, love him. Um, Khan from the When the Moon Hatched series, love him as well. And then Stark from Brimstone, love him too. I just I love a character who is, especially when it comes to like a love interest for romanticities. I love it when the MMC or the love interest, MMC in this case, is just like badass, you know, lethal killer, whatever, and then the love interest just makes them like a puddle of like goo and like just a lovesick puppy type of mentality. Like they're so down bad. I just love it. That's like my favorite. I'm trying to think of other FMCs or any other characters that. Hmm, yeah, I can't think of any outside of those guys. Newest fictional crush. Yeah, those are probably my crushes, but not necessarily new. Um, I've read those series. I read the first book of all those series in 2025, so they're not new. But I will say, reading the sequels to those books has definitely confirmed that I do have crushes on those characters because they're just like I said, down bad. They're like kick-ass fighters. I don't know, big and brooding. Yeah, so those would be my picks. Newest favorite character. Newest favorite character. Hmm. It's only I'm gonna say, and this might be a mini spoiler. I mean, if you're reading When the Moon Hatched, I'm gonna mention a character. So I don't know, but I might be mispronouncing his name. Is Pyric? Pyrock? His the best friend. I love him. He seems like a solid dude, and so love him. And then I will also say from The Knight and the Moth. Uh, oh gosh, Bartholomew is the gargoyle called Bartholomew? But the gargoyle character, he was like so stinking adorable, um, and sweet. So I'll say those guys for sure. Um, yeah, I mean every romantasy needs a good side character with a heart of gold. New favorite. Yeah, so those would be my new favorite characters, but not newish. Again, like unfortunately for 20, well, unfortunately for this, because this mid-year freakout seems to be about like new books, and like I am in the middle of many a series because I am a romantasy reader, and it is the lot in life that I have set for myself since that's the genre of my choosing. So not a lot of new, like nothing to like tell you guys like, oh yeah, I've new authors, new this, new that. Unfortunately, not. So it's not going to be a good freak out tag. But like, luckily for me, which because it means that a lot of my favorite series have new books out, which is great because I hate waiting forever for another book to come out for a series. Um, yeah, book that made you cry. Oh, book that made me cry. You guys are so stuck with me. Like, thank you. Book that made me cry. Uh, none. I can't think of any. I think there's definitely ones with like sad moments in the books for sure. Um, but I guess I'll give you a little sneak peek into like my reading world and the books I choose. I do not like to cry at books. I actually made a short um like 2 days ago asking for book recommendations, and two of the books recommended to me were like books that when I read the synopsis, like one of them being Normal People. And I'm like, that sounds, they're like, oh, this is like a tearjerker. And I'm like, I can't, sorry, I just hit the microphone. I can't do it. I can't read a book that's gonna, um, make me cry or make me cry on purpose or, um, yeah, like it's just, reading to me is such a way of joy and a way of like, and not to say like obviously like I said romantasy, there's risks for sure, and there's gonna be some people lost, but I will say for thus far with the romantasy books that I've read, it's never been the main characters or anyone really really like, oh god, do not die. Like it's never been like, oh my god, knock on wood, but like it's just romantasy for me has never been that high of a risk. And I think again that's why I enjoy the genre so much, because it's like it's it's risky but not risky. It's you know, at the end of the day, I'm almost positive that our FMC and MMC are going to be alive and well. There will be a happy resolution, and it will be fine. So like when it comes to books that make me cry, I actually actively avoid books that will make me cry because I cannot bring myself to put myself through such a emotional pull. But I totally get it for other readers. Like when other readers like cry and like just let it out, and they just find such catharsis in like crying over what they've just read. I think that's so beautiful, and I totally get why um people want to read books like that. But for me, as of right now, and where I'm at as far as like books that I gravitate towards and like want to read. It's just, yeah, I to be quite honestly, try to actively avoid books that will make me cry. And honestly, even the books, I will say this too, like when I come to a plot or a part in the book where I'm like, oh my gosh, like something bad is about to happen or intense is about to happen, I will absolutely skip it. Brief spoiler for anyone reading Throne of Glass, you can skip like the next 15 seconds, 20 seconds. But like if you're reading Throne of Glass, like this is definitely a spoiler, so please skip this part if you're reading Throne of Glass or in the midst of it. But like Sam, oh my God. Like I couldn't, yeah. When she goes to visit Sam with Rowan, like I couldn't, and then when the actual loss of Sam, like I skimmed those pages so quickly, like, and I already knew it happened, obviously, but like, no way am I gonna do, like, absolutely not. I'm already tearing up now. I'm like freaking so sad about it, but it's so beautiful. That's why I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. Like that, it's a beautiful part and it's part of the arc of the story, but I can't. Okay, I'm a wimp. I can't do it. I absolutely I can't. I can't read. Mm-mm. Can't make me cry.